3 days after September 11, 2001, I joined the FBI as a language specialist for several Middle Eastern languages. And the only reason I joined the Bureau was our government was out there pleading to have everyone with fluency in these languages to join them in their war against terrorists. I have taken the oath to protect my new country against all enemies. And this was my chance to serve my country. I assumed the enemy was foreign. Within a few months, I came across some serious issues, wrongdoings. And some of those would be considered criminal within the FBI. Some of those involve security breaches, 9/11 related cover-ups, and sabotaged intelligence operations. In one case, due to the pressure from the State Department and the Pentagon, the Bureau was prevented from criminally investigating certain U.S. officials who were engaged in actions against our national security, having loyalties to other governments. As far as the courts go, we filed our case, and in October 2002, 3 months after we filed our case, the Attorney General, at the time this was John Ashcroft, came out publicly and invoked the state secrets privilege in my case. And when I say the entire case, whether or not the FBI fired me was considered a state secrets privilege. And this information was public already. Less than 2 years later, the same Attorney General invoked the state's secrets privilege for the second time in my case. This time, I was deposed by these attorneys who were representing 9/11 family members. And they wanted to ask me a few questions, and I was one of their key witnesses. So the Attorney General invoked the state secrets privilege for the second time. And this time, they actually specifically stated all the information that they considered to be classified. Even further than that, they said where I was born was covered by the state secrets privilege. They did, and this is documented. And sadly, a judge, a federal judge, a federal court, they said, okay. They said that my birth date, my date of birth is top secret classified and covered by the state secrets privilege. You know, it is Kafkaesque. It is funny in a way because, and it's so very sad at the same time. And this is one branch, this is the executive branch. Let's say they are crazy enough or bold enough to invoke these ridiculous privileges and claim classification so outrageously. But, on the other hand, we had a court. We had our other branch that said, okay, do so. In fact, this particular judge had one line saying, I know this is draconian, but who am I to argue with the government, in this case the FBI, on matters related to national security? This this was similar to the responses we were getting from the Congress. When it comes to national security, if they invoke it, then we are not going to question that. Who are we to do it? I didn't relent. I pressed forward, and I appealed my court case. And the appellate court scheduled a hearing. And for that case, I was represented by the ACLU. We went inside the courtroom. We were sitting on the right-hand side. The plaintiff, that was me, appealing the state secret's privilege and the lower court's ruling that it was valid. And the government attorneys, the Justice Department attorneys, the FBI attorneys, they said to the left. There were about 9, 10 of them. And the judges, the 3 judges on the panel, they said this courtroom will be closed. So we are asking all reporters and the general public to leave the room, to leave the courtroom. The judges said, their response was, we do not have to provide you with any reasons. Again, this is part of court record. You can go and check it. We do not have to provide you with any reasons. My attorney, she stood up and argued the case about the state secret's privilege. She said, here there is an Inspector General's office, which came out about a month before the court date, that says her allegations were confirmed. They were all supported by other witnesses and documents. And the only reason the FBI fired her was due to the fact that she reported these issues. And this is their own Inspector General. And this was posted on the Inspector General's website. So my attorney said, well, here is the report, it's public. We have statements from certain congressional members. And they had initially investigated the case, and they had said that, yes, she's right, even the FBI during classified and unclassified meetings have confirmed her allegations. And you can't throw the entire case based on the state secret's privilege. Give us a chance to show you, to depose witnesses, to show you documents. So she argued the case. And then she sat down. And at this point, the 3 panel judges, they said, thank you very much. Now we are going to ask you, the plaintiff and the attorneys for the plaintiff, to step out because the government is going to argue its case. I turned around and I looked at my attorney and said, can they do this? I mean, this is the United States of America. I studied the laws. I mean, can they do this? She shook her head. She said, today, unfortunately, yes. They believe they can. And don't worry, we'll challenge it later. We'll take it to the Supreme Court. We stepped out. Actually, we were escorted. The guards, the court, they escorted us out. And they locked the doors. And they stood there because they were afraid, I guess, we would go and eavesdrop. We waited there for about 15 minutes while the government attorneys argued the case. I don't know. We don't know what they told the judges. They were all classified. And the plaintiff, my attorneys, could never know what they argued. As far as we know, they could go and give the most outrageous lies. There was no one there to challenge them. So they could. Therefore, we assume that they did. Because a few weeks later, the judges ruled, they upheld the lower court's ruling, and they said, yes, this case is covered, the entire case is covered by the state secret's privilege.